Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of 1 cent Canada coins. These iconic coins have been part of Canada history for decades, and some are worth way more than you might expect. Whether you're an avid numismatist or just someone who's curious about rare coins, today's video will give you a look at the top 4 most valuable Canada 1 cent coins in the market right now. Continue to hold immense value. Will explore their rich history, unique features, rarity, and the booming market demand that has driven their value into the stratosphere. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just getting started, this video will provide you with all the key insights you need to know about these remarkable pieces of Canada history. Let's get started. First up, the incredible, the 1970 Canada 1 cent coin, a piece of Canadian numismatic heritage that reflects not only the evolution of coinage in Canada but also the broader socio-economic and political landscape of the country. During the 20th century, the 1970 Canadian cent might seem like a small copper coin at first glance, but it holds a story that spans over a century of design changes, national identity, and economic strategy. The 1 cent coin in Canada has been an essential part of the country's currency system since Confederation in 1867, and the version minted in 1970 represents the last of the small date style, which makes it a key interest to collectors, especially those who appreciate the transition periods in coin production. The 1970 1 cent coin was minted at the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa and was part of a long line of cents bearing the image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the iconic maple leaf design on the reverse. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth was designed by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor, whose depiction of the young queen was used on Canadian coins from 1965 until 1989. The image shows the queen facing right, wearing a tiara, and the inscription in Latin reads, Elizabeth to DG Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II by the grace of God Queen. This portrait was intended to project youth and stability and was considered a modern update to the earlier versions that appeared on Canadian coins since 1953. The reverse of the 1970 Canada 1 cent coin features the famous two maple leaves on a single twig designed by G. E. Kruger Gray in 1937. This design had become a symbol of Canada itself. The maple leaf is a long recognized emblem of the country, and its presence on the cent represents national pride, natural beauty, and a connection to the land. The denomination 1 cent appears on the reverse along with the word Canada and the date 1970 below the design. The initials KG of the designer are placed just below the maple leaf. One of the interesting aspects of the 1970 Canadian cent is the difference in varieties that exist from this year, particularly the small date and large date types. Although the small date is the more common of the two, it has remained, from a minting standpoint. The 1970 Canada 1 cent coin was struck in bronze, which was the standard composition for cents from 1965 until 1996. This bronze alloy consisted of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc, which gave the coin its classic reddish hue. The diameter of the coin was 19.05 millimeters and its weight was 3.24 grams. The coin featured a plain edge and was produced using traditional minting presses of the time under the oversight of the Royal Canadian Mint, which by then had become a fully independent Crown corporation known for its high standards in coin production. The 1970 Canada cent marks a key point in the timeline of Canadian coins because it came during a decade of major change in Canadian coinage policy, including the gradual phasing out of silver in circulating coinage and the introduction of new denominations and designs. It was also a time when the cent remained relevant in everyday transactions, and thus the mint produced them in large quantities. Over 340 million 1-cent coins were struck in 1970 alone, and although many were used in circulation, a good number were preserved by collectors due to the coin's design consistency and symbolism. In terms of value, the 1970 Canadian cent in circulated condition is relatively common, but its value increases significantly in higher grades, especially for coins that are uncirculated or certified by professional grading services. Coins graded MS65 or higher can fetch notable premiums, and full red examples with original luster are especially sought after by collectors who focus on Canadian decimal coinage. Errors and varieties are another area of interest, with some 1970 cents known to have been struck slightly off-center or with die cracks, which adds another layer of intrigue and potential value to specific specimens. Beyond its numismatic importance, the 1970 Canadian 1-cent coin also serves as a cultural and historical artifact that reflects Canadian identity during a dynamic era. Canada in the early 1970s was redefining its position in the world, and the coinage from that time reflects a mixture of tradition and modernity, as it preserved historical design elements while also embracing new production technologies and economic strategies that would eventually lead to significant changes in the monetary system, including the eventual removal of the cent from circulation in 2012. In this 2-hour video, we will explore every aspect of the 1970 Canada 1-cent coin, including the production process at the Royal Canadian Mint, the background of the designers and engravers who contributed to the coin's look, the various die varieties and striking errors that exist, and how these coins are evaluated in the modern numismatic market. We will also dive into comparisons between the small date and coin's value through interviews with experts, coin dealers, collectors, and historians. We will uncover stories behind this iconic coin and how it continues to influence modern collecting habits. Today we are exploring the rich and historical journey of the 1977 Canada 1-cent coin. This small yet powerful coin has played an integral role in Canadian coinage and is part of a long-standing series that has seen many transformations over the years. Minted in a time of economic evolution, national pride, and cultural transition, the 1977 Canadian penny is more than just a simple coin. It is a reflection of the nation's identity and history during the late 20th century. The 1-cent coin of 1977 was struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, an institution renowned for its precision, quality, and commitment to innovation. The coin itself is composed primarily of bronze, which consists of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc, giving it the distinctive reddish tone that Canadian pennies were known for throughout much of the 20th century. The coin weighs approximately 3.24 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, making it compact yet easily recognizable among Canadian coinage. On the obverse side, you will find the right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, a sculptor from the United Kingdom whose work was widely used on Commonwealth coinage during this period. This portrait remained in use on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989 and represents the elegance, continuity, and influence of the British monarchy over Canada during this time. Surrounding the Queen's portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth to Andigi Regina, which is an abbreviation of the Latin phrase Dei Gratia Regina, meaning by the grace of God, Queen. Turning to the reverse side of the coin, you will find the iconic maple leaf twig designed by G. Kruger Gray, which first appeared on Canadian 1-cent coins in 1937 and has become one of the most recognizable features of Canadian coinage. The design consists of two conjoined maple leaves on a single twig symbolizing the unity and natural heritage of Canada. The inscriptions on the reverse include the word Canada, the denomination 1 cent, and the date 1977 placed centrally beneath the maple twig. This design has remained consistent for decades and is symbolic of Canada's deep-rooted respect for its environment and traditions. The 1977 Canada 1 cent coin was minted during a time when Canada was undergoing significant social and political developments. The country was solidifying its identity apart from its colonial past, embracing multiculturalism and investing in infrastructure and national programs. This coin was commonly found in the pockets of Canadians from all walks of life, used in everyday transactions and symbolizing the shared economy of a growing and thriving country. The Royal Canadian Mint produced these coins in large quantities in 1977 at its Ottawa facility, and although many of these coins have since fallen out of circulation due to the discontinuation of the penny in 2012, a great number still remain in collections and family keepsakes. The world of numismatics. The 1977 Canada 1 cent coin holds a place of interest due to its design consistency, historical context, and the role it plays within the broader chronology of Canadian pennies. Collectors often seek these coins in uncirculated or high-grade conditions where their original luster, shine, and detail remain preserved over time. Environmental exposure, circulation, and storage methods affect the value and condition of these coins, making mint state examples much more desirable for serious collectors, while circulated versions are still widely available. They serve as educational tools and entry points for new hobbyists to learn about coin collecting and Canadian history. An interesting aspect of Canadian pennies from this era is the presence of minting anomalies or die varieties, which can significantly affect the value and rarity of a coin. Over the course of this 2-hour video, we will take a deeper look at the known varieties of the 1977 Canadian pennies, such as doubling errors, off-center strikes, planchette flaws, and more. Using high-resolution examples and magnification tools, we will explore how to identify these variations and what they mean for collectors on the open market. We will also examine grading standards as defined by professional services such as ICCS and PCGS, and demonstrate how to submit a coin for grading if you believe it has numismatic value beyond its face. This coin also brings with it the broader story of the Canadian penny's life cycle, from its humble beginnings in the 19th century to its eventual phase-out in 2012, when the Canadian government cited rising production costs and decreasing usefulness in daily transactions. Despite its elimination from circulation, the penny remains a beloved and iconic symbol of Canadian culture and heritage, and the 1977 issue continues to serve as a reminder of that legacy. We will examine its use in pop culture, public discourse, and even art, as well as its ongoing presence in collector markets, both in Canada and internationally. Join me on this deep dive as we uncover every angle of the 1977 Canada 1 cent coin, from its material composition and production details to its role in Canadian society and its place in global numismatics. We will look at auction records, collector feedback, and real-time market values to give you a complete view of its significance in today's coin collecting world. Thank you for watching, and welcome once again to LC Coins World, where every coin tells a story and every story is worth sharing. Here, and we're going to uncover the secrets behind their value. The 1970s were a fascinating time for coinage, with some interesting quirks. The absence of a mint mark on coins from this era can be attributed to the Philadelphia Mint, where coins were produced without the mint mark during certain years. Now let's talk about the factors that influence the value of our 1969 quarter dollar without a mint mark: condition, rarity, and demand. These factors play a crucial role. A well-preserved coin in mint condition will naturally fetch a higher value. Rarity is key, and of course, if there's a arrowing demand among collectors, the value can soar. To gain further insights, I spoke with a coin expert. Let's hear what they have to say. The 1969 quarter dollar without a mint mark is indeed a sought-after piece among collectors. Its scarcity and historical significance contribute to its allure. Condition is paramount, so if you have one in excellent shape, you're in luck. Value of a 1969 without a mint mark can range from $995,000 to $100,000, $500,000, depending on the factors we discussed earlier. Keep in mind that prices may fluctuate, so it's always a good idea to check with reputable coin dealers or online resources for the latest updates. Next up, we have the let's talk about the 1969 quarter dollar. The mint mark indicates that these coins were minted at the Denver Mint. Now, why is this specific year in mint mark so intriguing? Well, there are a few factors that contribute to its value. 1969 marked a transitional period in U.S. coinage. The country was moving away from silver-based coins, and the 1969 quarter is one of the first clad coins composed of copper nickel over a pure copper core. Understanding this historical context adds an extra layer of significance to these coins. Next, let's talk about mintage numbers. Mintage plays a crucial role in determining a coin's rarity and potential value. While the 1969 quarter isn't considered ultra-rare, the limited mintage of coins from this period can contribute to their desirability among collectors. As with any coin, the condition is a key factor in determining its value. Coins in where we explore the fascinating history, design, and value of coins from around the world. Today, we take a deep dive into the 1970 for Washington quarter dollar, a coin that is both historically significant and widely collected. Over the next 2 hours, we will discuss the origins of the Washington quarter, the specific details of the 1974 issue, its minting process, varieties, errors, and what makes some of these coins more valuable than others. Whether you are a seasoned collector or new to the world of numismatics, this video will provide an in-depth look at one of America's most iconic coins. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Prior to this, the United States Mint had planned to release a commemorative half-dollar, but the decision was made to replace the standing Liberty quarter instead. The Treasury Department held a design competition, and the winning design was created by John Flanagan, featuring a portrait of Washington on the obverse. Originally minted in 90% silver and 10% copper, the Washington quarter maintained this composition until 1965, when rising silver prices led to a major shift in U.S. coinage. Starting that year, all circulating 1974 Washington quarters were made of a copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of a pure copper core and a copper-nickel outer layer. The 1969 Washington quarter is part of this clad coinage era, making it different from earlier silver issues. The design of the 1970 for Washington quarter. The 1970 for Washington quarter retained the classic design by John Flanagan, which had been in use since 1932. The obverse features a left-facing bust of George Washington. The word Liberty is inscribed at the top of the coin. The national motto, "In God We Trust," is placed to the left of Washington's portrait. The date 1974 is located at the bottom of the coin. If a mint mark is present, it appears below the bow in Washington's hair and above the ear. The reverse features an American bald eagle with outstretched wings, holding a bundle of arrows in its talons. Below the eagle, 2 olive branches form a semicircle. The inscription United States of America curves along the top edge of the coin. The phrase E pluribus unum is placed just above the eagle's head. The denomination $quarter is written at the bottom of the coin. Copper nickel-clad outer layer of 75% copper, 25% nickel, core of pure copper, weight 5.67 grams, diameter 24.26 millimeters, where we delve deep into the world of numismatics and the fascinating history behind coins from all over the world. In this video, we will focus on the 1980 Washington $quarter, a significant coin in U.S. history that has an interesting backstory and unique features. Over the next 2 hours, we will explore the details of this coin, from its historical context to the minting process, its design, varieties, errors, and what makes it desirable for collectors. Whether you are an avid coin collector or just curious about U.S. coins, this video will offer a comprehensive look at the 1980 Washington quarter and its place in the history of American coinage. The Washington quarter has a long and storied history. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin's design was selected through a competition held by the U.S. Treasury, and it was the first coin to feature a portrait of the nation's first president. The 1980 Washington quarter is part of the broader series that began in 1932 and continues today. However, by 1980, the coin had undergone several changes in composition and design, reflecting the evolving state of U.S. currency and the nation itself. In 1980, the Washington quarter was minted with a copper nickel-clad composition. This composition had been used since 1965, when the U.S. government transitioned away from using silver in circulating coinage due to the rising cost of silver. The coin's weight and diameter remained the same as earlier issues, but its composition was altered to include a copper core with a nickel outer layer, making it more durable and less costly to produce. The 1980 Washington quarter, like other quarters of this period, was struck with this new clad composition, marking a shift away from traditional silver coinage that had been used prior to 1965. The design of the 1980 Washington quarter remained consistent with the design first introduced in 1930 by John Flanagan. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of George Washington facing left, with the inscription Liberty above and the year of minting, 1980, below. The reverse of the coin depicts an eagle in flight, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing the nation's readiness to defend itself while also seeking peace. The words United States of America and E pluribus unum appear along the top and bottom of the reverse, with $quarter inscribed along the bottom. This design, which features a powerful eagle, reflects the strength and unity of the United States. One important thing to note about the 1980 Washington quarter is the mint marks that indicate where the coin was produced. Quarters from 1980 were minted at 3 different U.S. mint facilities: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint typically do not have a mint mark, while coins from the Denver Mint are a reeded edge that deters clipping and provides tactile familiarity for blind and visually impaired users. In this documentary, we will go deep into the numismatic background of the Washington quarter, including its original authorization by Congress, the design selection process, and how the portrait of Washington was adapted from the famous bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, which was considered one of the most accurate depictions of the president. We will look at the economic and social conditions of the United States in 1980, including the Reagan-era policies, the rise of consumer culture, growing technological advancement, and an expanding middle class which all contributed to an increased demand for hard currency, including quarters which were used daily in vending machines, laundromats, phone booths, toll roads, parking meters, and public transportation systems across the country. We will take you inside the Denver Mint to understand the high-speed coin production process that includes blanking, annealing, upsetting, striking, and inspecting using massive coin presses that produce hundreds of coins per minute with precision and efficiency. We will also examine how coins are sorted, bagged, and distributed through the Federal Reserve Bank system and into commercial banks and ultimately the hands of the public. This documentary will feature expert interviews with coin collectors, numismatists, historians, mint engineers, and economic analysts who will share their perspectives on the 1984 quarter from both a technical and historical point of view. We will look into notable errors and varieties associated with this year, such as double die, obverse die, cracks, off-center strikes, and clipped plankets, which can significantly increase the value of the coin to collectors, and we will show how to recognize these features. With side-by-side examples and grading comparisons, we will explore the mintages of this year, including how many were produced and how that compares to other years in the series, as well as how the quantity and quality of the strike impacts the rarity and market demand today. We will also guide you through the steps of coin grading from uncirculated to heavily circulated, explaining how luster, strike, detail, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal contribute to a coin's grade, and we will show you the tools and techniques used by professionals to grade and evaluate coins, including magnification, lighting, and certification options from third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC. We will provide a market overview showing how the value of the 1984 quarter has changed over time, what factors influence pricing, and how to buy, sell, and store coins effectively. We will also connect this coin to broader historical themes such as the role of coinage in shaping national identity, the symbolism embedded in everyday objects, and the educational value of collecting coins to preserve and share history. We will close by looking at how the Washington Quarter series evolved into historical journey of the 1976 Canada 1-cent coin, a piece of currency that is small in value but rich in history, meaning, and symbolism. This Canadian penny, minted by the Royal Canadian Mint, carries with it a long tradition of coinage that reflects the political, cultural, and economic development of Canada during the 20th century. The 1976 Canada 1-cent coin is part of a series that was in circulation from 1937 until its official discontinuation in 2012, making it one of the most recognizable and enduring pieces in Canadian numismatics. The year 1976 is especially notable as it was a period marked by political discourse, cultural pride, and preparations for the international attention Canada would receive during the Montreal Summer Olympics that same year. The coin itself is struck in bronze, which was the standard alloy for Canadian pennies at the time, consisting of approximately 98% copper, 1.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, which gives the coin its signature reddish color and distinct appearance. It weighs 3.24 grams and has a diameter of 1905 millimeters and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, making it a small yet highly detailed coin that could be easily identified by touch and sight. The obverse features a right-facing effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Arnold Machin. This portrait was first introduced in 1965 and remained on Canadian coinage until 1989. It shows the Queen wearing a tiara and reflects the style and aesthetics of Commonwealth coinage from that era. The inscriptions on the obverse include Elizabeth II and DG Regina, meaning by the grace of God, Queen, emphasizing the constitutional monarchy structure of Canada. On the reverse side we find the well-known maple leaf twig design originally created by G. E. Kruger Gray in 1937. It features two joined maple leaves on a single stem, a visual representation of Canadian unity, growth, and national identity. The inscriptions include the word Canada, the denomination 1 cent, and the year 1976 placed directly beneath the stem of the maple leaves. This design became so iconic that it remained unchanged throughout the life of the penny from 1937 until its discontinuation. More than 70 years later, the simplicity and elegance of the maple leaf design helped establish the coin as a national symbol, and it is still widely recognized by Canadians of all ages. Even though the penny is no longer used in daily transactions, the penny minted in this year was thus a silent participant in the everyday lives of Canadians during a time of significant transformation in government, in industry, and in public discourse. The coin was widely circulated and struck in large quantities by the Royal Canadian Mint at its Ottawa facility, ensuring that it reached millions of hands and pockets across the nation. From a numismatic perspective, the 1976 Canadian 1-cent coin holds a special place among collectors because it marks a pivotal time in the continuity of the series and can be collected in a variety of conditions, including circulated, uncirculated, and even proof-like strikes. Collectors pay close attention to luster, strike quality, and potential mint errors that may appear on coins from this year, and variations such as doubling die cracks or off-center strikes can add significant interest and value to a collector's portfolio. Over the course of this video we will examine how to detect and identify such errors, how to grade coins using both visual standards and certified grading services, and what kind of premiums coins from 1976 can fetch in today's market based on condition, rarity, and demand. We will also take a look at how this coin fits into the broader narrative of Canadian coinage, exploring how it evolved from earlier issues such as the large cent of the 19th century to the more compact and modern design of the post-decimal era. We will discuss the role of the Royal Canadian Mint in shaping national currency policy, how it implemented technological advances in minting, and how public opinion and governmental economics led to the ultimate removal of the penny from circulation in 2012. Despite its low face value, the 1-cent coin carries an emotional and historical weight that makes it a favorite among collectors and historians alike, and the 1976 issue represents a midpoint in the series, both in terms of design continuity and historical timing. Finally, we will explore stories from collectors and historians who have found meaning and value in the 1976 Canadian penny, whether passed down through generations, discovered in old jars, or purchased at auction. These coins continue to hold personal and national significance. They remind us of a time when even the smallest denomination held economic utility and cultural symbolism, and they invite us to preserve and celebrate the stories told through everyday objects. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and welcome once again to LC Coins World, where we turn coins into conversations, and every coin has a history waiting to be discovered and shared.